Are you a teacher who has been dreaming of moving abroad, but you feel a little bit stuck? Or maybe you are like me and you're already abroad, but you find yourself slipping back into some old habits. I want to talk about something that really stood out in the last video that Rashida Dow did called Mastering the Mindset Necessary to Move Abroad. It's something that really resonated with me that I think will help you as well in terms of shifting your mindset. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to walk you through an exercise that will help you stay out of your comfort zone, ensuring that you are able to get that teach abroad position and have the right mindset to be successful. My name is Javonna MaeRhys, and I am a former high school principal who quit her six-figure job, sold her house, and moved with her husband and son to the island of Borneo. And I now coach other educators who are burned out and looking to move abroad. I provide resources for them and help them realize that maybe it's not the vocation, but it's the location so that they can stay in the career that they love and see the world. As a breath coach and a yoga instructor, I often lead clients through breath work and other mindfulness activities. And I'm just going to take a deep cleansing breath before we get into this video, which should be relatively short. We're going to talk about the one thing, I'm going to give you a strategy, and then we'll move on with life. But I just want to take a so that I can tell you that I have fallen into so many bad habits. And this is why Rashida Dow's video really resonated with me. She says something that I often say, which is wherever you go, there you are. And what was it that brought me abroad, aside from wanting to do it for a number of decades and finally just saying, okay, let's do it? There was some overwhelm there. There was some burnout. And where did that burnout come from? That burnout came from my propensity to do the absolute most. If there was a certification to get, your girl was getting it. Didn't matter if I needed it or not. I just wanted the piece of paper. If, there was, and I'm doing the certification in as little time as possible. I'm cutting off everything and I'm going through it to get done so I can get to the next one. And so what I found with myself, which is the same thing that I find with some of my clients, is that the burnout is sometimes your own fault because you are the one that is always trying to do the absolute most. And that's why it's so important to me to help people do less and live more. And I can speak to that because it's a journey that I've gone through. But life is cyclical, right? There's busy seasons and then there's seasons where it's a little bit busier. And so it's easy to fall back into what you've been doing your whole life. We have muscle memory when it comes to our habits. For example, we drive on the left side of the road here. And so I'm getting in the car on the right side instead of the left side to drive. And if I'm not thinking about it and I'm in a rush sometimes, I will walk all the way to the wrong side, what's now the wrong side, instead of the side that I've been driving on for the last 11 months. So I say all that to say that doing the most has been a way of life for me. And while I'm working during the school day, you guys have heard me talk about how there's so much less stress in my current job. And so what do? I fill it with other things. There's not enough for me to do with work. I get everything done ahead of time. So I'm going to go hard on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be creating content. I'm going to be creating ebooks. I'm going to be creating workbooks. I'm going to be doing all of these things. And I ranted. It was a short rant or a short question on my channel, I think last week or week before last, where my husband called me out on it. And he was like, Javonna, you're supposed to be the queen of do less, live more. And you were, but it looks like you were sliding back into doing the most. And he was absolutely right. Absolutely correct. Didn't appreciate it still, but he was absolutely correct. What do I do now that I realize that I am slowly sliding back into doing the absolute most? I do the same thing that I do with my clients. I start by reassessing my values. And so that's where I am now. At this point in my life, I have to reevaluate what's important to me and where do I want to send my energy. Do I want to send my energy into doing all the things? No. Or do I want to pull back and connect with myself and connect with the people who are important to me and, go through that whole process? And so that is step number one for me right now in terms of wherever you go, there you are. It's reconnecting with the values that are important to me. So let me know in the comments, do you have a bad habit that you were trying to break? Maybe it's not setting good boundaries. Maybe it's perfectionism, which I've talked about before in this channel. I'll put a link in the description to the video where I talked about perfectionism. But let me know in the comments if there is a habit that is not really serving you, but you are working on letting it go. So why do we do this to ourselves? We know what the bad habits are, right? You know what to do. We all know theoretically what to do, but we live in our comfort zones. That's why I have a trainer. That's why I pay a trainer to come to my house 3 times a week to work out. Like, I know I'm supposed to work out, right? But I need some accountability. And that's why people hire me as a coach, because they know what to do for the most part, but they need some support and some accountability because we are all living in our comfort zones. And so I want to walk you guys through an exercise that is really a series of questions for you to reflect on how you can escape your comfort zone. And the link to the PDF, the fillable PDF, I cannot talk tonight. The link to the fillable PDF will be in the description. Okay, I did it. So what this exercise is going to help you do is this exercise is going to identify where the borders of your comfort zone are. It's going to help you realize your fears and help you grow personally beyond those borders of your comfort zone. And it's also going to reemphasize the fact that mistakes happen, which as educators, we know. We tell our students all the time to make mistakes. That's how you learn. But funny how sometimes we're not willing to be vulnerable and accept those mistakes that we make or accept the fears that we have. And so this exercise will help you to reflect on those things. We have 4 zones. We've got the comfort zone, which is where we know what's going on. We can do this with our eyes closed. We feel completely safe in the comfort zone. And then there's the fear zone, which is the exact opposite. We feel uncomfortable. We don't have a lot of experience. And that can be difficult for adults, for educators especially. And then between the comfort zone and the fear zone, we have the learning zone. And the learning zone is where we are pushing ourselves to learn something new. And it does not feel comfortable. We have to be mindful when we're in the learning zone that feeling anxious about mistakes and about not being the expert is normal. And that discomfort is actually a good thing because we're pushing ourselves. The 4th zone is the growth zone, and that comes after you've been in the learning zone for an extended period of time and some of that fear that you were having starts to subside a little bit. And so you see things a little more clearly now, and things that you thought were impossible. I'm never going to learn that. I'm never going to be able to do that. You stop feeling those feelings. And here is a graphic a graphic of the zones, and what you'll notice is the fear zone and the comfort zone, those are small. And I think this is a good representation because staying within those zones keeps you small. And when you expand, when you grow, you can see that those areas on the graph get bigger. So some of the questions that you'll want to think about as you are thinking about the different zones and where you are right now that is maybe causing you to feel burned out or is keeping you where you are. If you've been wanting to take your teaching career abroad, I know that it can be scary if you've never moved abroad, if you don't know the processes. And so sometimes that can make you say, okay, I'll just stay where I don't know what that was. That can make you say, I think I'll just stay where I'm at. It's better to deal with the devil I know than the devil that I don't know. People, say that all the time. But let's use some of these questions to reflect on that. I'm just going to read them, and then I'm also going to put them on the screen so that you can see them. And then if you want to fill this out, you can download the free PDF. So what are some things in your life that you'd like to do but feel uncomfortable doing? Examples of that could be moving abroad to teach, starting to work out at the local gym, asking someone on a date, or giving a presentation, or speaking in public. The next question is, what fears are holding you back? What kinds of thoughts does doing this thing bring to mind? And what do you think will happen? Or what do you think you'll experience if you do it anyway? If you are scared, but you do it anyway, what's going to happen? What do you think will happen? And then what are you missing out on by letting your thoughts and fears hold you back? You can list experiences, you can list skills. And then what would happen in your life if you decided not to listen to your fears and do the things that are making you uncomfortable? What kind of person would you then be? And what would you be able to achieve? And last question, what small steps could you start taking to make yourself face your fears? If you were to embrace the discomfort and do it anyway, what would you do specifically? What would you do? So, as I said, this exercise helps you to identify where the borders of your personal comfort zone are, realize that fear and personal growth go hand in hand, realize that having fears and making mistakes is normal, helps you reflect on what you're missing out on by staying in your comfort zone, and it helps you reflect on what actions you can take to get into the growth zone. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to move myself into the learning zone, back into the learning zone, and let go of some of the things that I am doing that are team too much, and stay in that space for a prolonged area. I think my growth is going to be to continue to not find ways to do the most. Like, it is an ongoing cycle. It never ends. You get there and you find a good groove, and then something pulls you back. So that's where I am in my journey at the moment, is reassessing what my values are and then looking at my comfort zone. My comfort zone is doing the absolute most, and I need to escape that comfort zone. Moving abroad to teach is an incredible journey. It has its ups, it has its downs. It's not perfect, but it has been the right choice for me. And if you're ready to escape your comfort zone where you're currently teaching, go ahead and download my Escaping Your Comfort Zone exercise in the description below, and then send me a message and let me know what you think about it. I'll see you next time.